Why Carolina?
People.
The people.
The people.
The people.
The people. You will find every resident, every fellow, every faculty member, every staff individual in this institution, in this department. You will find them welcoming and committed to you.
I would say part of what keeps me here at UNC and what drew me here initially was residents like the ones we have and everyone I've worked with. So I get to work with amazing faculty members, my colleagues who are icons in their field, and yet there are these humble people who will help you out and take a consult anytime. So I really think for all of us, it is working in this place where people are excited to be here. They're excited to take care of the families of North Carolina and really practice evidence-based care in a really collegial way. So for me, that's what is amazing about being here.
So what brought me to UNC was the people. My colleagues, the residents, the fellows, the nurses are extremely dedicated to patient care. I love medical education, and UNC offers a variety of opportunities for me to teach the next generation of medical trainees.
Give us a good look. We can't wait to meet you.
Well, I'm not from the South. I grew up in Seattle. And when I finished up my medical school training, I knew that I wanted to come to a place where I felt like I would belong and have a sense of family at work.
To have the honor of teaching residents and medical students the future of medicine, as well as working with so many fantastic subspecialists in our division and department. And very glad I came. This would be the only department in the country I would leave private practice for.
Why Carolina? Numerous reasons. Number one, the facility. There's nothing in this hospital that somebody needs that they can't get. Number two, my colleagues in the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology and all the other supporting services. And the third big reason, the patients. We have a lot of diverse patients, a lot of patients who need us on lots of different levels, and we can give them quality care here.
Prior to coming here for my interview, I never thought that I would find myself living this far from home, but it was the experience of being together with the residents and meeting the people and faculty involved with this program that convinced me that I couldn't be anywhere else. The most important thing in choosing a residency is finding co-residents and faculty who will support you for 4 years. And I had no doubt that this was the place where I would get that.
Best part about this place is hands down the people, that even going through a pandemic, they make every day fun. They are there in the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And I couldn't imagine being at a place without these people. I mean, they make this experience what it is.
I think what brings people to the area is their love for education. I have to say the love for sports because I'm a huge Tar Heel.
So I am Carolina bred. I went to undergrad and medical school here, but then I went off for my training, and everywhere I would go, people would say, "Hey, you went to UNC. We hear it's really great there." Ultimately, when it came time for me to find a faculty position, I came back to UNC.
Chapel Hill, Durham, and Raleigh, so the Triangle is a very awesome place to live.
Coming to Carolina for me was a very personal decision. I was really impressed on the interview day with how all the faculty, whether they were previous presidents of SGO, heads of the Society of Maternal Fetal Medicine, all of them were really into each applicant as a person and what our individual goals were for applicants. They were very inclined to ask about our research, what we wanted to do in the next 5 to 10 years, where did we see ourselves, and it was really special to me to come to a place that's considered #1 in the nation and be around so many humble and thoughtful people that really, I felt, wanted to advance me in my career as an OBGYN. And that special experience is really why I came to Carolina.
As a resident, having come to UNC as a medical student, I met these residents and that same personality and that same commitment to education and to, raising the next generation of physicians. It carried through to the residents at this program more than at any other place that I'd visited on the interview trail. It was very special to have a place that had such excellent clinical training and excellent research experience, and these clinicians and attendings whose names were world renowned, and they were nice people, and they were really interested in what I found interesting and what I valued. Things like increasing access to medical education for young Black students, and trying to make sure that patients' voices were heard and that patients' voices were valued. I felt like they somehow managed to balance all of those things, and I wanted to be in a place that really could foster that in me as well.
And then being here, I got to see that play out in real life, that these people were not only the best surgeons, clinicians, researchers, but they're also incredible human beings. And that was a big reason why I wanted to stay here for fellowship, to be able to still be a part of that community of people who were invested in me, and we're on mission together to take care of the women of North Carolina.
When I came on my interview day, I just immediately know that these are my people. And it has been so incredibly true. The friendships, the mentors, the congeniality in everything that we do. When you're working that hard, you want to be around people who you love.
I did medical school here and then was lucky enough to stay for residency. All of the people that you learn from, the attendings, the nursing teams, the APPs, and these are people who are titans in their field across the divisions. And, they are not only providing this excellent evidence-based care to patients, they're on the cutting edge of research, but then they're also engaged and kind and encouraging when you're learning. For my co-residents, I think, more than anyone else, those are the people who taught me how to treat patients and how to really care for patients. They are the people that I belly laugh with outside of the hospital and in the hospital. They're the people who I call when I'm in the middle of an emergency. I did that with Gina this year. When I got in a car accident, she was the first person who I called. My husband was out of town. They are the people who pick you up off the floor after a really hard shift. They are the reason that I will be not only the very best doctor, but the very best version of myself.
The day of my interview, I left that interview feeling a sense of family, kind of a love at first sight sort of meeting.
I went back to UNC for medical school, and I really just loved the rotation. When I was here, I loved the people. I was dying to come here for residency and rank them #1. And then when we got in, my husband and I were thrilled, and so I definitely haven't had a single regret since then.
The people are amazing, excellent teachers. We have really world-renowned, top-notch clinicians, researchers, surgeons, educators. I couldn't think of a better place to be. And in fact, I only applied for one job, the job I have.
My first interview day, the warmth in the room, I knew this was the place I wanted to learn and become one of the best physicians that I could be. I was lucky enough to stay and continue to teach the residents that come through this program.
On the interview trail and looking at other programs, I just never felt as at home as I did here at UNC, and I was incredibly privileged to be able to stay here and continue to build on relationships that I started in my medical education.
I picked UNC because on my interview day, I really could tell that the residents enjoyed each other and had a family bond that went beyond colleagues.
I think everyone from senior level residents to faculty are very willing to take the time to sit aside and kind of go through something. So for example, when I started on this rotation, I didn't feel super comfortable with diabetes management in pregnancy and initiating insulin. And so sitting one-to-one with my attending and kind of going through the calculations and how to best titrate and what you're looking out for, them taking the time to go through that until I understood it well and felt comfortable was super helpful.
Regardless of your ultimate career path, whether it be academic, private practice, or fellowship, you will benefit by having a strong foundation in general OBGYN, and we hope to have a part in that.